Hi, I'm Doug the Bee Guy, and welcome to Beekeeping Questions. Today I'd like to answer some common beekeeping questions, and we're going to give a 10,000 subscriber giveaway a little bit later in the video. So the first thing I'd like to address is what is a honey flow, or more properly a nectar flow. Get a lot of questions about that and what it looks like. So I'd like to play some video right now that shows what a field of clover looks like. And this is just regular common clover that grows in people's grass. If you don't treat your grass for broadleaf weeds, you get clover. A lot of people get rid of this, which is unfortunate because it's a great food source for honeybees. And in the old days, before everybody wanted a perfectly manicured lawn, they actually put clover into the grass seed. And you could see it was like a 5 or 10% clover seed in your grass. They don't do that anymore because people think it's a weed, but it's not really a weed because, looking out for the deer flies here, it's not really a weed. It's a great food source for insects that like nectar. So it's rained for 3 days. They are now coming out because it's really hot, and they're trapped in there for 3 days, and they're big nests. Most of the bee hives are full, and they're coming out right now because the rain just stopped and they're just flying out. And here's the video of that, and they're just happy that the weather has changed and they can come out and continue with their nectar flow and their honey building, because about 3 days ago we had honeysuckle and the black locust honey flow, which just ended, and then they got the rain and they're trapped in there. And so they've been used to going out and getting the nectar and bringing it in and processing it every day, and now all of a sudden we had this inclement weather and they were trapped, and so now they're just coming out. So this is a shot of the bees and what it looks like when they're trapped, and then they're just coming out in huge amounts to get the nectar. So when you see this in your beehives, even if you have one hive, you start to see these kind of whatever you want to call it, actions. This tells you that they're going on something, and there's a nectar flow going, even if you don't see it where you particularly live, because they can fly up to 2 miles, 2 to 3 miles, and they're going to find the nectar wherever it's at. Another question is, how many bees are in a beehive? Well, it varies throughout the season, but at the peak season in any specific geographic location, it's between 50 and 70,000 honeybees are in one hive. So, and that time of year varies depending on where you're at in the country or the world. But right now is our peak season, right around end of May or June, and this is when they have the most bees in them. And then from now until September, they start tapering off slowly, naturally, hopefully naturally, not from disease or other problems. And so right now is the peak. And there's probably, like I said, 60 or 70,000 bees in each one of those hives, and they're just going out, and their only job is to get nectar, bring it back, process it into honey, and that's what they're doing right now. And they're trying to do it as fast as they can because they have a limited amount of time. Because to them, winter is just around the corner, even though summer hasn't even officially started. I guess it did a few days ago. All right, the next question is, how much honey can a honeybee hive produce? Another variable question depending on where you're at in the country or the world, but in this area, pretty much 50 to 60 pounds is a pretty good average. So if you can average 50 to 60 pounds, you're doing well. How many days does it take for the bees to fill up one of those honey supers? Well, on a good flow like today, where it's happening and it's just immense and there's a million bees coming in and out, they can fill a super in about 10 to 12 days. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be processed in the honey, but they can fill it with nectar, and then they're going to have to evaporate the water, which is they normally do at night. So what they do is they fill the comb with nectar, and sometimes they put it in the brood nest, and then they move it up into the honey supers at night, and then they fan it, and they try to get that moisture content down to about 17% before they cap it. And then it's considered honey. And then it's stable, and it won't ferment once the moisture content is below 17%. So in about 10 or 12 days, they can fill that up, and then they're gonna keep every night. They're gonna keep fanning it so that it becomes honey, and then they're gonna keep filling it as the water content goes down. They'll fill it with some more, and so I would say in probably 20 days, on a good honey flow, they could fill and cap one of those supers. How long does a honeybee live? Well, that is a great question. Honeybees typically live 30 days in this time of year when they're going nonstop every day. They go out and they come back, they go out and they come back, and they're bringing the nectar in. So they only live about 30 days. Their wings get frayed in about 27 to 28 days. They stay in the hive for a few days after that, and then they fly out and grab onto a leaf of grass or a leaf and just die. And they try to die outside of the hive so they don't stress the hive with a bunch of dead bees. If there are the fall bees that have to last through winter, they can live up to 45 to 90 days. It's a lot different bee. The scientists have figured out that the biology of the bees change when they get closer to fall. Most beekeepers know this because the sting is a lot different. A fall sting from a bee is a lot hotter and more painful than one from a little baby spring bee. It's just a totally different animal, because in the fall the bees have to protect their honey and their food source, so they have a much hotter bee sting, and their physiology is different. They're storing fat in their glands in their head, and so they can feed the winter bees. And so in the winter and the fall they live a lot longer than they do in the summer. So there isn't one specific answer. If you want a lot more information about what bees jobs are and what they do, I'll put another video up here in the card that I did that shows all the different bees and the different jobs that they have as far as we know and the scientists have figured out. It's pretty interesting information. It also helps beekeepers figure out what their hives are doing and what stages and what maybe they should be doing as manipulations, because you got to watch the bees and work with them. They don't really listen to you as much as we would like them to. All right, so I've had a lot of people ask me why I disappeared for a year, maybe 2 years, some people would say. Was I hurt? Was I sick? Was I whatever? And no, I was not hurt. I was not sick. I was healthy. I have a healthy, happy family. I did not move. I did not get divorced. I have another business, which is the business that makes the majority of the money for me. My wife also has her own job. But that business is a kettle corn business, and I'll put a link to that right here if you're interested. And we had an opportunity about 10 days after I filmed that one video where I talked about all the series that I was going to do and all the things that I was going to do that year. And then this opportunity came up for us to do a local beach where we're going to be there, and and there's a lot of people there, hopefully make some money. And so we got the opportunity to do that for between 3 and 5 years, and so we signed up. And then the beekeeping had to take a second seat to that, and that's just the way it is. We do make money from beekeeping, but it's not enough substantial honey money to to say, okay, I'm just not going to take this offer. So what happened is we started working for the last 3 years. I've been working 7 days a week, every day, 12 hours a day at a beach, selling and making kettle corn in the summertime. So basically the bees, I could do what I could. And that first year where I made all those partial series, I worked as long as I could, as many hours, and then I just had to stop because the beach went crazy. And it was a godsend for us. Thank God that we got it, because last year during COVID we were the only beach open for 4 or 5 states, and we did just fine. We survived everything. We didn't have any problems. My bees did not do well. I got some bees, put them in May, and never looked at them again. I might have taken some film for footage and just played with them. I didn't even treat them, and they didn't survive. And that's just that's part of it. If you ever wonder how the beekeepers go up and down, read what's the book? I'll put it in the thing. 50 Years in the Bees. It's a doctor who had bees for 50 years, and he talks about the ups and downs and things that happen. And he had to move away for a job, and he had surgery, and his wife was ill. So it's just ups and downs of the bees. And this man had 200 or 300 hives. We're not talking about one hive. So he had a lot of bees. He had some help. Sometimes he would get family or friends to help him when he had to go out of town. So it's just the nature of the business. So with all that, we'd like to do a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. Even though I haven't been posting videos as often as I would like, the videos I have posted have seemed to be very interesting to people, and so we do have 10,000 subscribers as of yesterday, and we would like to give a free gift to somebody that is watching this video. And all you have to do is put popcorn in the comment that you leave for this video. You don't even have to be a subscriber. And I don't really want everybody to subscribe just because they saw this video, only if you're interested in beekeeping. That's really, the people that we're trying to reach. But for this thing, we're going to give away a big box of popcorn. We're going to send it to you as long as you're in the continental United States. I can't send it to Alaska, Hawaii, or any foreign country because it's too expensive, and most foreign countries don't allow food products to be imported anyway without special licensing and stuff like that. But if you live in the continental United States and you like kettle corn, put popcorn in the description and you win a chance to win a big box of popcorn. And we'll send it out to you, and that's all you got to do. So that's what I've been doing. I'll put a link to my website for my popcorn business in here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, be extraordinary. Well, if you'd like to become a better beekeeper, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.